Popcaan, nothing. What if one make Popcaan watch the ground when the sun is hot? Yap it.
Popcaan, Popcaan. Hey, I can't go. What is this song?
From the streets of Portmore to playlists around the world, it's one of the most iconic anthems in dancehall history. A song that turned a shoe into a symbol, a collaboration that shaped a generation. And now, 15 years after its release, Vybz Kartel and Popcaan's Clocks has officially surpassed 50 million Spotify streams. This is the story of Clocks, the record that redefined style, status, and sound in dancehall. I'm your host, and in the next few minutes we'll explore the full legacy behind this anthem, from its 2010 origin to its 2025 milestone. Now let's rewind to early 2010. The dancehall scene was buzzing. Rhythms like Mad Collab and One Day were ruling the streets. Vybz Kartel born Adidja Palmer was at the height of his creative dominance, dropping hits back to back, shaping the culture of the Gaza movement. In February 2010, Kartel released Clocks, featuring his then protege Popcaan and the talented singer Vanessa Bling, also known as Gaza Slim. The beat, produced by ZJ Chrome on the Mad Collab rhythm. The theme, simple but powerful, the love for a pair of Clarks. But Clarks wasn't just a song, it was a movement. At that time, owning a pair of Clarks, whether Wallabies, Desert Boots or Desert Treks, was a serious statement in Jamaica. It meant status, cleanliness and respect. Kartel tapped into that everyday truth and turned it into art. When he dropped the line, everybody have to ask when I get my clocks, he gave voice to a fashion anthem that every youth could relate to. Now within weeks, the demand for clock shoes skyrocketed. Stores in Kingston and Montego Bay sold out, prices doubled. Street vendors couldn't keep up with the hype. By mid-2010, Kartel himself told the Guardian newspaper that he owned over 50 pairs of Clarks, joking that he had more Clarks than there are more states in America. That's when everyone realized this was bigger than a hit record. Now in Jamaica, Clarks changed street fashion overnight. It revived a long-standing connection between Jamaicans and the British shoe brand, a love affair that dated back to the 1960s, when dancehall's predecessors, the Rude Boys, would wear Clarks as their badge of pride. But now, through Kartel's lyrics and Popcaan's youthful energy, that legacy was reborn. You could see it everywhere, from Halfway Tree to Portmore Mall, young men lining up to cop their pair, DJs spinning Clarks 3-4 times a night. The brand itself, Clarks Original, saw the surge. Even global executives admitted in interviews that Kartel's song boosted their visibility in Jamaica and across the diaspora. The influence reached far, from Jamaica to London to New York to Toronto. BBC Radio 1 Extra in the UK gave the track heavy rotation. Now dancehall lovers abroad started singing, "Me prefer Clarks boot, now wear Adidas," even if they had never been to Jamaica. Now the effect was undeniable. Clarks became a part of the culture, not just a song, but a statement. Musically, Clarks was built to last. The rhythm is crisp, simple, hypnotic, driven by a bouncing bass and a mid-tempo groove that fits both the street corner and the club. Now Kartel's delivery is confident, melodic, and full of personality. Now Popcaan's verse brings youthful excitement, bridging generations of listeners, and Vanessa Bling's hook adds balance, soft yet commanding. But beneath all that style lies meaning. The song speaks to self-expression, confidence, and ownership, about taking pride in how you present yourself, no matter your background. In the eyes of many, Clarks was about the Jamaican idea of cleanliness is next to godliness. Looking sharp, moving sharp, being respected. That's why 15 years later, people still sing every line. Now in 2025, Kaboom magazine confirmed that Clarks officially crossed 50 million streams on Spotify, a rare feat for any dancehall track from that era. It joins other timeless Vybz Kartel hits like Summertime, which also hit 50 million, and Fever. and Kartel's most streamed song at over 130 million plays. Now think about that. A track recorded back in 2010 with no fancy visuals or massive label push, still racking up millions of new streams every year. It shows the song's reach, its staying power, and the loyalty of dancehall fans across generations. Now, Kartel himself followed up with 2 sequels, Clarks Again and Clarks 3, Where You Have, cementing the trilogy as one of the greatest dancehall brand series of all time. Even today, DJs from Africa to Japan still drop Clarks in their set, proof that the teacher's influence knows no border. Now let's talk about the voices behind the anthem. Now Vybz Kartel, born January 7th, 1976 in Jamaica, Kingston, is more than just a dancehall artist. He's an institution. Known as the world boss and the teacher, Kartel built a global empire through music, mentorship, and fearless creativity. Even while incarcerated for over a decade, he remained one of the most streamed Caribbean artists in the world. In July 2024, Kartel was finally released after years of legal battles and soon after announced a major world tour set for 2025, including shows in Jamaica, the US, Canada, and Europe. And of course, Clarks remains a staple in his live performances. Then there's Popcaan, born July 19, 1988 in St. Thomas, Jamaica. Back in 2010, he was the rising star of the Gaza camp, and Clarks was his big breakout moment. Now, since then, Popcaan has evolved into one of dancehall's global ambassadors, signed to Drake, OVO Sound, and Warner Records, collaborating with artists like Burna Boy, Davido, and Tony and Singh. And finally, Vanessa Bling, known as Gaza Slim, at the time added that melodic touch that made Clarks feel complete. Together, they created chemistry that still feels fresh 15 years later. So what makes Clarks so timeless? It's the perfect mix of rhythm, relevance, and reality. The song bridges the streets and the global stage, teaching us that dancehall is more than music. It's a mirror of lifestyle and identity. Every new artist who steps into the game owes something to that formula: authenticity, originality, and pride. And even as the sound of dancehall evolves, Clarks stands as proof that true classics never fade. As of 2025, dancehall continues to grow, with artists like Skillibeng, Skeng, and TJ carrying the torch forward. But for every beat, every lyric, and every piece of swagger, there's a line that connects back to the teacher and his influence. From the first Clarks boot laced up in Kingston to 50 million streams on Spotify, the journey of this anthem reminds us that true culture never dies. So next time you lace up your Clarks, remember you're walking in history. This has been Vybz Kartel and Popcaan, the Clarks Legacy, 50 million streams and still climbing. I'm your host, and this is Sleep Dancehall, the home of real commentary, real culture, and real dancehall stories. Until next time, stay clean, stay Gaza, and keep representing the culture.